Welcome to Breaking Woke, how to identify, debunk, and dismantle dangerous ideas. I'm Douglas Kruger, author of the global new book, Political Correctness Does More Harm Than Good. The problem here in a nutshell is basic cowardice. Let's talk about classical liberal and conservative governments around the world and why they are largely ineffective against radical leftism, as well as 5 ways that they could do better. So, as a scene setter here, the US Supreme Court just rejected a bid to audit their own elections. And of course we have conservative judges on that panel. Now, even if you put aside the fact that they swore an oath to uphold the Constitution and ensure the integrity of all things that prop up the American system, the stats show that most conservative voters believe that the election was stolen. So, if an audit can lay that to rest, why not do it? And likewise, if an audit might prove fraudulence to be true, why not do it? Either way, I'm going to say this straight. I believe that conservative judges, leaders, and representatives, by and large, are cowards, people who refuse to do their jobs. They refuse to fight, and they are so cowardly about it that they effectively become the single biggest weapon in the hands of the opposition. Or otherwise stated, it would often be better if they were simply not there. They're doing more harm than good. So here are 5 things that a true classical liberal or conservative government can and should do. I think these things should become the platform on which they run, and if they were true to them, rather than being cautious and politically expedient, they would do better over the long term, not worse, and they would be able to sleep at night. Number 1, don't be the UN, which is to say, the place where causes go to die. So the UN dynamic goes like this. Several nations or communities realize that something has to be done, and they're perfectly capable of doing it. They could champion it themselves. However, the UN steps in and says, we are the appropriate body to take charge of this initiative. And everybody thinks, well, they do seem to be the right body, and they let it go. Then what happens is the cause goes and dies a quiet death in the halls, where radical terror-promoting countries and radical Marxist countries just endlessly pummel it into identity politics and political correctness, and nothing gets done. Now here's the thing, the original actors could have done it themselves, but they relinquished it to the UN, and that's the problem. Now similarly, modern conservative governments are where conservative causes go to die. They are supposed to be the people who uphold these things. Other civic or social bodies could carry them out, but they think that this conservative government will do so, and that's the problem. Step number 1, don't be the UN where causes go to die. If you're not going to champion the cause, then say so, or get out of the way, or let's reform your conservative government, because it's doing more harm than good. Number 2, announce openly, from the start, and continually repeat out loud that your goal and the entire point is to win. That you're not there to play politics, you're there to defeat the radical left. You are in power to champion victory for your set of values. You're not there to seek unity with Marxists, and you are not there to try to build coalitions and create friendships with those who are trying to tear down civilization, because you cannot unify with someone whose goal is to gut and overthrow your every sacred value. Stop trying. The point is to defeat them and win. Say so, run on that platform, let that inform your narrative from the start. Then don't back down from your position, and never apologize for what you are there to do. When they scream woke slogans at you, which they will, you dig in and you fight harder. Your voters respect you for this. They do not respect you backing down and kowtowing. Number 3, when you come to power, use it, for crying out loud. This will make the left squeal, it will make them wail and rend their garments in anguish, and all of the things that they always do. They will call you a racist, a Nazi, and all of the words they love to use. Ignore it. You are not there to champion their ideology. You're there to defeat it. So they will squeal. They will call you every name under the sun. That's just what they do. They have been doing it for a century now. Do not let this in any way prevent you from exercising your hard-won, legitimate authority. When you win the space to enact your principles, for crying out loud, enact them. That's what your voters expect you to do. That's why they elected you. Do it quickly, do it efficiently, and do it completely. I would say that this is perhaps the area of weakness shown by our leaders. All that fighting to get there, and then reluctance to do the job once you arrive. If you are taking the temperature among your own people, I think you will very quickly see that they are increasingly not only feeling a sense of deep betrayal when you don't, but they're actually beginning to hate you for it, because this has gone on for too long. It's the UN dynamic. They think you're the one who will, you get there, and then you don't. And that's another, 4 years, 5 years lost. And they have to get rid of you and start again. Number 4. Do you genuinely believe in your values? Do you really believe that radical leftism, including Marxist socialism, postmodernism, identity politics, mob justice activism, are morally wrong? If you believe that, and you should, then gut them. Use your authority to remove them from institutions, particularly schools. Let me ask a question. Why is Foucault still being taught to kids? Why is Marx, who should be some sort of a curious relic of failed antiquity, he should by now be an artifact of yesterday's oppressive tyrannies, why is he still being taught to kids? Where are your commissions to have that removed from the curricula? I've never heard of a single one around the world. If I've missed one, please let me know in the comments and I would be proud to congratulate you for that. I haven't heard of a single one by a Conservative government. Are you too scared to fight them? If so, it doesn't matter what you do in government, because the next generation of children who have been raised on activism, Marxism, and radical leftism will simply rise up and wipe us out. And it doesn't matter what you did or failed to do in government, because you didn't get rid of that one. So it's simple. You either do your job, and that might not happen, or you don't do your job and it doesn't matter what else you did. That's the level at which you need to be fighting. Anything less than that is relinquishing the light. Number 5. Don't play defense all the time. Accuse the left of its crimes every time they open their mouths to sprout Marxist garbage. Respond not by backpedaling and defending yourself. Respond by saying, that's Marxist garbage, and accuse them. How dare they continue to peddle the ideology that is responsible for over 100 million dead? Ask them whether they're evil or ignorant, and press them on it. Which one is it? Don't respond on their terms. Don't continually stand on a hill defending yourself against their arrows. It's ridiculous. Make them continually defend their every bad idea. And while they're scrambling to respond, remove another one of their ideas from a court, an institution, a government body, or a school. If they are not continually struggling to keep up with your proactive moves to dismantle them, you are doing it wrong. So those are 5 things that true classical liberal or conservative governments and their leaders can do in order to start doing the right thing. Number 1, don't be the UN, which is to say the place where causes go to die. The buck must stop with you. Be the owner of these causes. You are the correct elected body. Number 2, announce openly from the start and continually repeat out loud that your goal and the entire point is to win, and then stick to your guns on that. Number 3, when you come to power, use it. Number 4, if you genuinely believe in your values, including that radical leftism, Marxism, socialism, postmodernism, identity politics are wrong, gut them. Make that part of your initiative. We, voters, want you to do that. Why aren't you doing that? What's stopping you? Is it fear? Number 5, don't play defense all the time. Accuse the left of its crimes, and every time they open their mouths to sprout something, send it straight back at them, accuse them of the ideology underpinning it, and continue to dismantle their institutions even as they are scrambling to keep up. The most successful conservative leaders were simply the ones with the most courage. This bears out over history. Winston Churchill, Maggie Thatcher, Ronald Reagan, these people were not there to appease their opposition. They were there to implement and champion the right ideas and to overthrow their opposition. And it worked. They fought in the fields, they fought in the trenches, they fought in the landing grounds. They faced down and defeated Hitler and his National Socialists. They faced down and broke the labor unions. They faced down and defeated the Soviet Union and global communism. And they went there with the intention of doing that. Go there with the intention to fight. You're not there to protect a political career or to make sure that the other side doesn't shout at you because it's scary. Your voters do not want you to find common cause with people who are trying to destroy us. That is illogical. Stop it. Find your courage and fight, or get out of the way, and allow a new set of leaders to replace you. Don't be the UN where our ideas and our votes and our values go to die. Nothing is worse than the leader whose job it is to fight for the values that we all agree on, but who meekly refuses to do so. Folks, if you agree, won't you please pass it on? And if you have any additional ideas for what conservative and classical liberal leaders and governing bodies and governments around the world need to be doing, please include them in the comments section below. I'm Douglas Kruger, author of the global new book, Political Correctness Does More Harm Than Good.